And this week, News 2 is on tour in Davidson County. And this morning, we are learning about the history of a street, and it's one of Nashville's major roads.
Yeah, it really is. So if you frequent the Forest Hills area, you may have driven on Granny White Pike, where Jaxie Pigeon is here to explain the legend behind this name. Good morning, Jaxie.
Well, Nicole and Peyton, Granny White was the nickname given to a woman named Lucinda White, who is remembered as one of Nashville's first pioneers. Historians say in 1800, she and her orphaned grandchildren made the 800-mile trip from North Carolina to Tennessee in a cart pulled by oxen. Along the way, she would bake and sell ginger cakes, which would ultimately help her acquire 50 acres of land on what was then called the Middle Road between Nashville and Franklin. There, she ran a log tavern and inn that became famous for its food, brandy, and comfortable beds, and even played host to distinguished guests like Andrew Jackson and Thomas Hart Benton. What was once known as the Middle Road was renamed to Granny White Pike in her honor in 1855. Today's Granny White Pike runs from Brentwood to South Nashville. Davidson County historian Carol Busey tells me that Granny White was unusual in that she was self-sufficient at a time when women had no rights of their own. They couldn't vote and they had difficulty owning property, but she did everything in her power to defend herself and her grandchildren.
She was very entrepreneurial. She continued her baking business, but she also made bourbon and other alcoholic beverages, and she was quite a wealthy woman. She raised her grandchildren. She was involved in all manner of things, but she had a life of true independence.
True independence. What can't she do?
No,
I mean, there was everything. She did everything back then. It was hard. I'm like, 3 years it took them to go the 800 miles.
That's amazing.
And a cart pulled by oxen.
Incredible story, because I've wondered before, but just never took the time to look into it. But now we know.
And she's still buried there,
Yes.
where she was buried in 1816. It's off Travelers Ridge in Granny White Pike if you want to see her grave.
Awesome.